You have reached the public service. Ask yourself one question. Are you a taker or a maker? As with any situation in life, is your situation taking or making you happy? This is a public service show, and I'm Sandra.
And I'm Kirk.
And today we're going to go deeper into the people that are representing us in our government.
The Syndicate.
But before that, we went to a barbecue cook-off this weekend, and I received from my guy this magnificent phoenix. Take a look at the detail in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it represents some of the hard times in my life and how I've overcome them. And it is absolutely beautiful. And in turn, I named him the dragon. And I got him a dragon. And our cups fit in these nicely.
They're cup holders, actually.
They are the coolest cup holders I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And there'll be times when we'll have to use this.
Oh, yeah.
I won't say what it is, but it has many variations on this saying. Okay?
Okay.
So, back to our show.
Back to it. Okay.
I'll let you start, young man.
Ooh, all right. Yay. Okay, so we are getting deeper into the syndicate that is the current American government, United States government. Brooke Rollins, the United States Secretary of Agriculture, is the head of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, a federal agency dedicated to promoting farming, ensuring food safety, and overseeing conservation efforts, or in this administration's case, lack thereof. I'm sorry, the syndicate's case, lack thereof. You want to...
Okay, agriculture, her actual department is to make sure that we don't have a lot of pollutants in our foods and things like that, and supplementing farmers when they need help in disaster areas and things like that. So food safety, they oversee food safety, and I don't know if that's been happening for the last, I'd say, 30 or 40 years. So,
real food safety?
I think we have red dye number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the way up. I think that pesticides are the name of the game.
Oh, yeah.
I also think that we use a lot of steroids and antibiotics and all of these things in our cows and chickens and stuff. So this department, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't exist.
I'm with you there.
It looks good on paper,
Here's the thing.
Food safety and overseeing conservation efforts, which means our water is not polluted, our air is not polluted. That's all part of that. And we got all of that.
Here's the thing. Okay, so farming. The largest welfare recipient in the entire United States system of government, number one. And all we've heard coming out of that organization or that group of people is how much trouble they're in. Because
but my problem is that if we were... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And these people, for decades, have been, the stories are myriad. Growing too much food, won't donate, way more food than we are capable of eating.
Consuming.
And they don't give it away, the excess. They let it rot. Many of these farmers have systematically tried to bar minority farmers from being a part of the system and getting the same kinds of loans and help and assistance that they are privy to, which means, by the way, the minority farmers are the ones that are actually thriving right now because they figured out how to work without the federal government's help and how to farm a sustainable crop because they haven't had all the subsidies that affords them the ability to buy all the pesticides that they're covering this stuff in, all the other terrible, terrible stuff. And I didn't want to take any thunder from Sandra because you were getting ready to bring up some other stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Now, they're saying that the farmers are having a hard time because we were supplementing their income, which means that I see a lot of farmers where I live that have these mega mansions. So if we're paying for them, we're buying the seeds, we're paying for them to toil the land, we're paying for the water and everything. Where was their investment? We should be the owners of these farms, not
Yep.
the farm owners.
Yep.
And that is a huge welfare right as far as I'm concerned. And it is highly unfair that a business, because each one of these farmers claims to be a business owner,
That's right.
but is it a business if the federal government is paying for the whole ride? No, I think it isn't. I think that if we are paying for your crops, your seed, your labor, and everything, then that food should be ours for free.
I agree.
I think that's the only fair thing, that would make it equitable for me. Otherwise, I don't see the need to supplement the farmers because what am I getting out of it? I mean, when I go to the grocery store, it's like $1.50 for one small bell pepper.
Oh my, yeah.
And that was today.
As I say, current price rate.
So how does it benefit me to pay these people billions of dollars and I still have high prices in the grocery store? Somehow that seems like we got the shaft.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, not only are we getting the shaft at the grocery store, there's that word again, grocery.
Yeah. Oh,
And we're getting the shaft at the
yes.
grocery store, but we're also getting a shaft with our tax dollars because these people who are supposed to be farming and working and earning, a non-subsidized living are whining. They're, I mean, we're paying for so we pay at the grocery store, and we have to pay to have the stuff that we're buying produced. I mean,
And then we end up owning nothing. They're taking the money from here, which is the federal government, and they're taking the money from us. So it's win, 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 win for them. And it's lose, lose, lose for us.
and then they
So
decide with the excess to not feed people who can't afford.
exactly, they say that that would create dependency. I've heard some farmers say,
Oh,
and they
you
don't
mean
want
like
dependency. Like taking farm supplements and stuff like that.
yeah,
That kind of
dependency.
dependency.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I have a whole new look at farming now after we did our research and found out that they are some of the biggest welfare recipients in our entire government.
Yep.
You
I
know?
mean, and and that's just the farming part.
Yeah.
Then of course into the whole food safety. I mean, have you eaten at Chipotle lately?
I can't talk about that place.
Uh,
It's diarrhea in a can.
or in a burrito, as it were.
That's the can. I don't know how some people do it, but I have not been able to digest Chipotle food ever. So
Oh,
I'm just going to leave it at that. Um, well, let's move on to number 2. Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, serves as a principal advisor to the President on federal policies related to American business, industry, and economic growth, as a economic growth. You
Hmm.
almost joke on that one, right? He heads the Department of Managing initiatives to promote job creation, facilitate foreign trade, set industrial standards, and manage data like Census Bureau and things like that. How many of us are doing this? How many of us are out of work? How many of us, are currently in need of services and all those things? These are all statistics that have been hidden. But anyway, moving on.
Um, this guy,
Yeah.
I mean, well, I mean, I guess we could probably start and stop with the Epstein files. Mr. Me and my wife were over at Epstein's place, and we just immediately decided that we didn't like him and never went back. But of course, we went back to go hang out at his island a little bit later down the line after he said he was going to sever all ties, and on and on and on. And it's, this guy, I mean, first of all, industry economic growth. I mean, do we live in a country where there's human beings, or is the United States nothing but a stock market number? Because this guy. I mean, every time I hear him talk, that's all he talks about: stock market, stock market, stock market.
Insider trading. That's what I hear.
Oh
I hear
yeah.
ding, 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 insider trading. So he is directly responsible for all of this big business that's going on behind the doors, all of the layoffs. He's facilitating those, and he's hiding the job numbers. We had accurate job numbers up until the beginning of this year when these departments were taken over by this current administration from back then. They decided not to release the numbers, and now we're not sure, but the last numbers we have, we were in negative numbers for job growth
Have you ever
and for
heard of that?
layoffs.
I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
Have you
well,
ever
the
heard of
Great
negative job
Depression,
growth?
they said the Great Depression, that's when it happened before.
So basically, in 100 years, we're back to where we were 100 years ago.
Yeah. And so businesses are also under his responsibility. A lot of businesses are making really big strides at buying up all the small little businesses like theirs and making giant conglomerates. So that way they can corner their market, and that goes right back to the stock market. Isn't that the darndest thing? So if you're like a pig farmer, and there's
Ooh, a pig farmer.
a lot of small little pig farms,
I like pig
and
farms.
since the commerce secretary isn't going to tell you no, 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 you go out there and you buy up those other pig farms and you become the biggest pig farmer in the United States. Guess what price you can set? Any price you want. So when you're watching on the television and people are buying, like, say, um, big TV stations and things like that, it used to be that you couldn't be a large conglomerate, and this is the department that would stop you.
Yep.
But this department says, do as you will. We are not here to protect the American people. We are here to protect big business
The FCC falls under this guy too, doesn't
as
it?
well. Yeah, both
Yeah, that's
do.
what I
But
thought.
the Commerce Secretary, who sets policy, federal policies for American businesses, can also do stuff like
Fights
that.
against monopolies, or is supposed
Monopolies,
to be
yeah,
fighting against monopolies,
supposedly,
but of course that's not happening.
yeah.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
creating jobs, this has been a negative market since last year, and it's going to continue to be a negative market for one thing because of tariffs and because companies are going to rely on AI, and they feel that
Which
AI
is a
can
joke.
replace somewhere between 10 and 40% of people in the workforce. Now, I have a problem with that because those people that you're unemployed are the same people you're going to want to buy your products. And since you unemployed them, where do you think they're going to get the money for your products.
Certainly
That
not the
song,
federal
things that
government, I'll
make you
tell you
go,
that much.
Yes,
I'd be
exactly.
surprised. That's one thing we haven't heard talked about very much, but would be very interesting to see where it stands is where does unemployment stand? If you are on unemployment these days, how, how much,
Mhm.
I don't know.
If
It's
you're,
how much do you get for how long?
well, that's basically standards set by, oops, sorry, people. I put this on a little bit too tight. Um, by your states. The states are the ones that give you your unemployment. If I'm not mistaken, am I correct? Comes from your state.
Well, I know the money comes from your state, but I think it's funneled through the federal. I don't know.
I'm not
Maybe
sure
we'll
how
have
that
to
works.
dig into something. Maybe that'll be a topic for another show.
Yeah, but either way, the unemployment rate is extremely high currently. And
Now,
who do you have to blame? I would blame the current administration, and I would leave it at that.
adjust your bar up a little bit. Your cup brought your mic down a little.
How's that?
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. So, well, yeah, you're right. And let's not forget the census, because that's been in the news lately about them rigging the numbers so that federal dollars do not go to the places that they're intended to go. Oh,
That's exactly
we're going to
right.
rig the population. I know they're trying to use the census to filter out first generation citizens, naturalized citizens. I'm sure you've heard the news about they're now going after naturalized people who are actually citizens who followed the process, paid the money, did the tests, took the certification, raised the hand, citizens. I think there's 300 and something they're getting ready to go through and throw out.
Yeah, it was a little over 300. Yeah, that's the census data does depict how much federal dollars come in to and fro, and what is going to happen with those federal dollars, depending on how many people per state need this and that. But it is quite clear that this current administration isn't interested in what is needed in any state. And they pretty much turned over everything for states itself to take care of its own people, and the federal government is merely a collector of dollars and a keeper of dollars. That's what I hear.
What a
right?
What a mess. You're right. You are 100% right.
So at this point with the federal, I think we need to use the button at least one. So because of the census,
She's dying to do it.
I gotta no. I'll find the perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Number
Here's
3.
a perfect. I love how the list fell today, because I get to talk about Worm Boy.
Oh, I'm gonna chime in as well.
That's true. I just get to deliver the juicy.
Yes,
read
by
up.
all means.
Robert Kennedy Jr. leading the Health and Human Services Division. Let's see here. Has oversight of major health agencies, including the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, and the National Institute of Health. One of the many things that you see kicking around in the news is vaccine policy and oversight, which falls under this particular individual in the department that he is supposedly running. He has taken action, and we put this as a bullet point. He has taken action to reduce the number of childhood vaccines routinely recommended, and has expressed a desire to examine vaccine safety data within the federal agencies. Well, I'm here to tell you that they didn't investigate or test or nothing. They just started shutting things down. And now, fast forward a little over a year, and polio's on the rise.
Measles.
Measles is on the rise. I mean, measles deaths are actually the first set of large recordings. Now, obviously, nothing is 100%, but all of these things are on the rise. All of these things that, for the most part, have been considered, what do they call it?
Cured?
herd immunity,
Herd immunity, yes.
cured for all intents and purposes. In other words, if you got something like the measles or polio, that would be extremely rare. And now it's happening across the country and happening in all the states, and people are dying from it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this. Um, I will. There is one area which he actually seemed to be successful, because you brought it up earlier, was the red dye thing. That's the only thing that he seemed to be getting. This he
Okay,
got
a
dye
round
out of
of
certain
applause.
foes,
But
certain foods.
I want to make a point here.
Applause. That's right.
And you people need to understand this and listen to me very carefully. Robert Kennedy Jr. and his advisors, none of them have a medical degree.
Wait. Did you just
Excuse
say they're
me.
not doctors?
Hold on. Not a single one of them. You can paste them, glue them, mold them together. They have no medical degree and no hard medical evidence to prove any of this vaccine stuff. It's just a theory that came across the internet, and he's one of those people that fall for it. Unless you have hard numbers and statistics that prove, and you've done your homework and you've studied scientific data, it's crap. And that's why people are dying. It's just like when somebody said, when COVID came out, why can't you just let them drink bleach? The same people.
I can't.
The same people. Now, the rest of us have to go through and navigate with real doctors. And I tell people, you go, my doctor did this. I go, just think to yourself, how many doctors are A students? Not all doctors are even B plus students. You can get a doctor's degree with D grades.
D minus.
D minus. You can get an MD with D. That's why we have people with cut off legs in the wrong leg, arms. I mean, recently we saw a doctor actually take out a liver, which was supposed to be a spleen.
Oh yeah, that just in the last couple of weeks.
So just remember that you ultimately are responsible for the choices you make for your family and your children. If you are not going to inoculate your children from deadly viruses, please don't come cry to us later on and ask for GoFundMe. That was a choice you made. So when you stop inoculating, you better had saved money for the funeral, because there's no guarantees that your child is going to be the one that builds up enough immunity to be able to survive it. That is something nobody knows and nobody can predict. So good luck.
Not to mention, let's have these little petri dishes go to school and infect other kids. Pass it around. Sure, why not?
And I understand that you are entitled to make that choice, but we are also entitled to have our opinion as well. Because if you're going to go through with deadly diseases and infecting people, just like you said, we also have the choice not to be infected. So just because you've decided that little Johnny, or whatever your child's name is not going to be inoculated and he has measles, and you send him to school, you're directly responsible for the death of another child if that happens, or the severe illness of another child. You as the parent, chose the outcome for other people's children. And that is wrong, because if you get to make a choice about your children, they get to make a choice about theirs as well, not your decision.
I go with the masses on this one. You don't want to get your little petri dish vaccinated, so you can keep your little petri dish at home, because the vast majority of people out there are intelligent and they listen to the science, because guess what? It's been working for a very long time. And that's right. You've got the choice.
Everybody should have their own choice.
But you know what? You're not going to
choose
throw
for my
your little
kids.
kid out there and ruin somebody else's day. Boo hoo! Too bad. You can keep them at home with you.
Yeah, I don't think you have the right to choose for other
No,
people's kids.
no, they don't.
So on that one, we're going to do the, oh.
Hell no.
There it was.
I have to sit it down.
Why,
Oh,
why,
wow.
why didn't it do it? Oh, I see. Hold on. The little battery doodad is coming undone. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Now
I'm
we-
holding. I'm holding. I'm holding.
Hell no.
There we go.
Okay, and the next one is yours.
No, I got to do Robert Kennedy.
Okay, that's correct. So you have our feelings on vaccinations. I just think that you can have your choice, but you will not be able to choose for ours.
Yeah. I mean, and
So,
that's just the
yeah,
CDC
that's
part.
fair.
We didn't even
That's-
get into
no.
the FDA and all this other stuff. I mean, the guy's got worms in the brain. He's admitted. What did he haul, a bear head or something like that to New York? I don't know. The guy, he's not playing on the full deck. Sorry. It just kills me when I listen to him talk. I understand it's supposedly a condition. I don't believe that. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, I don't know about the condition or whatever. I just know that he's in a position of power, and he, as far as I'm concerned, he's abusing it because he has no medical degree. Zero medical degree, but giving out medical advice. I could go down the street and ask somebody, and they'd give me the same advice as he does.
Or better.
Because none of them have a medical degree, period. So we're going to, and he's right, we haven't gone over the Food and Drug Administration, which also falls under the vaccines and stuff like that, and disease control and the CDC. But the one thing that I do want to tell you that they did this year is they did not allow us to get COVID vaccines, and they did not give us the information on the type of COVID and how it's changed from season to season. So we're all out there suffering, not knowing, because we also don't have a test for it. We're just supposed to either drop off or figure it out.
I'm
And
pretty certain that-
so, in other words, this man is taking money and not helping anyone. In fact, he's causing harm to just about everyone in the entire country.
I'm certain that we had COVID.
I agree.
And we're still kind of,
Yeah.
I mean,
We
not
had
feeling
to-
good last week,
Yeah.
not feeling good this weekend.
We had to
I mean,
take
it's
off
just-
a week or two because we weren't feeling well at all. And we're still working it through, but we don't know what it is because we can't get a test for it.
And it keeps coming back.
I
It's like
know.
comes back, goes away, comes back. It's not good. I can only imagine what other people in the country are dealing with.
Exactly. So, number 4 is Scott Turner, and his designation is Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And he was confirmed, of course, last February, and he leads a federal agency responsible for national policy on housing needs, affordable housing, development, and homelessness, and fair housing enforcement. He focuses on streamlining vouchers and Section 8 public and private partnerships, and addressing homelessness through holistic, faith-based, and community-driven initiatives. Whatever that means. I'm not going to discuss that. But what I'm leaning forward because this department here. What I am going to discuss is this man is responsible for making sure that there is enough housing for everyone. That's his job. Billions and billions of dollars. So what he decided to do was cut the benefits for Section 8 housing. Make sure that only a certain demographic or gets it. And if anybody drives down any street in America now, we see that we have an extremely big problem with homelessness. And I'm not going to just blame this department because it started before he got in. And I believe it is because of excess greed with the banks.
Oh, there's that
The
word.
banks have decided that they're going to buy up all single family dwellings that our starter homes for our kids and things like that. The starter homes, like the 3-bedroom houses that, you could get into them because they were reasonably priced. The banks decided that they're going to buy all of those up. Every time I hear somebody saying, I want to buy a house, and they ended up competing with 6 or 7 banks, which is impossible. So they're all turning into rental property. So the house that somebody could have bought for maybe a payment of $1,000, $1,500 is now a rental for $2,000 or $3,000, which makes a homeless person instantly when you can't afford it, especially if you're making minimum wage. I don't even want to do the math, but you can do the math. In some states, $7. You tell me how somebody making $7 an hour can afford $2,300 a month in just rent alone.
We did the math in a previous show.
It doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not going to do the math again in this show.
No.
Is what I was saying. So
all I know
that's all I have to say.
Is that
this is angry.
We were out coming back from a wonderful trip of losing money, and we stumbled upon a new housing area that it literally, for the first time in my life, we saw not new homes for sale. It was a whole new housing complex. Sandra pointed out, she goes, look there, new homes for rent.
For rent.
And
they were still building in that one subdivision. I was like, look, honey, look, new homes for rent. And that told me all I needed to know about the housing market.
Yeah, the housing market
that it is
trash.
So overpriced that they can't sell them. They're trying to rent them. It's insane. I mean, the greed is out of control. But
I mean, the number of bank-owned properties is through the roof. In fact, I was reading somewhere where they said that within the next handful of years, bank-owned properties will eclipse, private citizens owned properties.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Really? So, in other words, the banks are going to buy up all the properties.
They already
have a tiny handful of billionaires, and of course, they're never going to sell them. I mean, it's an investment property. It'll be a rental its entire existence, and people will be forced to make choices because, first of all, they have priced out the new homes. Nobody can afford a new home. I mean, if you're a young person just getting started, there is little to no hope unless changes are made. And it's a mess. And someone's going to take a massive whopping loss.
Well, the banks are right now are overextending themselves. They're overextending themselves to make sure that you can't own anything. Our current home right now, we have equity, and even our current mortgage company is saying, get rid of that equity, use it all. And we're like going, no.
Yeah, take home equity line.
And
take out all your money.
It's not happening. And what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of real estate that's empty. It may have been purchased, but it's empty. So they're overextending themselves like crazy. And of course, they're going to want to bail out when they can't fill those homes. I see so much empty real estate, empty commercial real estate, rental property everywhere. The banks are buying up all of it. They can only extend themselves so much, though. They're going to need influx of cash all the time, and it's just not going to happen. We can go into that another show.
Yep.
If you're interested, go to the message boards and say, Sandra, do some research and tell me what you're talking about. I'll explain it more in depth. But now we're going to get to number 5.
Okay. Oh, joy. WWF, anybody? Linda McMahon, supremely not qualified to be anything, let alone the U.S. Department of Education, which I'm not even sure she should even have a job now because I think didn't they just like obliterate the entire Department of Education? Is gone.
And the building, they're actually tearing it down as we speak.
Gone. Think about that for a second. The United States Department of Education is no more. Gone. So she's supposedly focusing on expanding school choice, returning education oversight to states. Oh, well, no, see, that's what she's doing now. She's not supposed to be returning education oversight to states. Have you seen some of the people that are graduating from K through 12 in some of these states? It's a disaster. And promoting vocational training with a stated goal of restructuring the department. There is no restructuring. They killed the department. She's supposed to head focusing on expanding. Oh, never mind. I double read.
It's okay.
And Vince McMahon, former CEO, who cares? She's a waste of space. She doesn't belong there. And they made that so by wiping out the Department of Education. And here's what I'm wondering is, why is this woman getting a check? Because there is no more department. She's killed it. They killed it. The orange idiot killed it. It's dead. Gone.
So the federal government supplemented the state's education roles. They gave money to help with special needs, kids that Head Start, and all of those programs that got your kids ready for school. And in school, when they fell behind, there were programs that the federal government would support to get your kid caught back up. Those are all gone. So now each state is responsible for the full load of education. I don't know what's going on, but in my state, they're still in school. But what they're learning and how much it's costing each state, we have no clue. We're going to have to wait until the hard numbers come out by the end of the year. But I think a lot of states are no longer supporting education K through 12 because I don't believe they have the money to do it. A lot of the red states, they're basically welfare states to begin with. And if there is no education, I don't see how this works.
No, I know what they're doing. They're sending all the little petri dishes off to religious rugrat school, and they are pumping a steady diet of Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I'm sorry, well, in some cases, probably Messiah, Messiah, Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know about
people's
this.
throats.
That
I don't know. All I
I'm
know
not
is
sure
they're trying
about.
to put
I don't think
prayer back in school.
Yeah,
They're
but
trying
here's
to-
the
oh,
thing: if
this
you
is
don't have
just
money,
unreal.
if the federal government's not giving you any money or vouchers, not even they're going to have the ability to.
That's my point. Is they're going to church-based schools
That's what I
funded
mean.
by churches.
No, it's not. That was
The churches pay
that was
for
the
it.
vouchers, and the vouchers are no longer available.
It's
I
just a
thought
joke.
when it's shut down.
I mean, the United States was already in free fall with the rest of the world in education.
Right.
This is just another little feather in the cap of, I mean, how this is kind of where I'm at with this. How does the country who basically led innovation from essentially the industrial age, the turn of the 18th and 19th centuries, all the way up through the internet age, technology, and we've got a backfill of American citizens coming that literally can't tell you what 2 + 2 equals. And they most certainly cannot put together 2 declarative sentences. We're raising generations of idiots.
So some states are different from others, and it has been proven that the red states, the education is really below par, and the blue states are equal and some above, depending on where you are. So a lot of our innovation and comes from the blue states. Let's just put that out there. The education is
It is what it
geograph- geographically um, distributed through the United States. If you're in a wealthy blue state, you're going to get a better education than if you're in a red state that's a welfare state. Now, I have to tell you, most of our red states are welfare states.
A lot of them.
They take more money from the federal government than they produce, where the blue states produce more money because the kids and people are more educated here, and they put money into the coffers. That's exactly how it works, because of more college degrees, more understanding of how the world works, more global and more, multi-languaged people, arts and crafts, and you name it.
Diversity,
Yes.
red state people, diversity. And I'm sorry, but I wish we were speaking hyperbole in what we think. These are facts. These are numbers that have been borne out over the last 2 decades. These are cold hard statistics, and let's just face it, most of them don't pass the eyeball test, because when you actually encounter people from these areas, you're lucky if you can get past a hello or goodbye and understand anything that they're saying.
At this point, I've always wondered when I was in school, how come we had certain things and other people didn't, the inequities. And then by the time I got in junior high, I understood it was because of your zip code, which I find that highly unfair. But you'll have the people in the certain zip codes. Now, I lived in some zip codes that weren't so wealthy, but then I moved to some zip codes that were. And we were considered a middle class family. But where we moved at one point, I mean, these people were extremely wealthy by my standards, whatever standards you want. And so
we were poor.
I saw things in these and got to experience things that I never would have had I stayed in the middle class area. That's what I'm saying. And I think that should be equal for all, because we're all in
Agreed.
a pooled money, situation. So that's how come you go to one area of the country and they barely speak English, but you go to another area and everybody's fine and above fine.
Yep.
So that's how we have this. And I've always found that to be unfair. And how do we fight the system? We do. We have to. We have to change it.
Oh, we have to fix it. It has to be changed, or we're going to perish. We're going to starve. We're going to be out of work. There'll be no money. There'll be no crops. There'll be no goods. There'll be nothing.
In the red states.
Tent people
In
living,
the red states. Yeah.
living in, the teepee will make a comeback.
In the red states. But in the
Oh,
blue
yeah.
states, they'll be fine. They'll be fine and above fine. And they've proven
Most of them
they're
are
very resilient and very innovative. And I mean, there's nothing like our blue states anywhere in the world. So
yeah, most of them are economies all into themselves.
exactly.
So okay,
This
I'm
was.
kind of done ranting on this.
Oh, you're okay. So we can.
It's draining. It's very tiresome. We have this conversation all the time. And we experienced this during the first Trump administration. And I'm going to be serious now and, not bash people. And in the second Trump administration, it's the same. We talk about how we wake up, we get dressed, wash our face, brush our teeth, and the first thing we do is turn on the national news, and what rolls off our tongues is he dead yet? There's nothing worse than living your life feeling like you have to turn on and be watching the news 24/7, because if you don't, You're going to miss stuff like another assassination attempt, which, I mean, wasn't really an assassination attempt. We don't know. But another attempt on somebody from this administration, probably most likely Donald Trump. And there's no break. It's incessant.
Yeah, it is. It's tiresome. It's not just him though, it's the entire administration breaking down things that we've had for over 200 years, and it's very disheartening, and it's very humbling how little power we have out here. That's
Yes.
I'm just like, sometimes I just shake my head, and I am embarrassed at times
So embarrassing.
because the things that are being said and done to other people are not my thoughts and feelings at all. And not only am I embarrassed, as a woman, I feel fear at times because they come for us all the time. And as a minority woman, I also have fear. I mean, like I said, doing a show like this puts me at risk. But I figure if I don't stand up and stop yelling at the television, then I don't have a right to yell at the television. That's just the way I feel. So, yeah, this situation that we're dealing with right now is one of the most stressful, just chaotic, insane
That's a good word.
Existence. Every day for me is exhausting, keeping up with all the lies, all the subterfuge, all the criminality. It's just too much. But I'm not going to go on and rant about it anymore because we have more shows to do.
Oh, yeah.
But
and
I
it's
want to
tiring.
say this.
Take a break.
Now I'm going to
break.
say this because now we don't want any more. Hello.
Hell no.
We don't want any more. But
Uh,
let's end this on a high note.
Okay.
Look at my phoenix.
Get the dragon.
Look at my
Ooh.
beautiful
but she just
fingers.
dropped her water all
I
over the
sure did.
place. Oh.
That's okay.
And it's pouring.
It's just water. But now that we have come to the end of our evening, I am Sandra,
And I'm Kirk.
and this is a public service show. When you're having experiences within your day, look at every situation and see, is this a taker, this person I'm encountering, or a maker? Do they make me feel happy, or do they make me feel sad? Are they enriching my life, or they're taking things out of my life? Go to the message boards.
Oh,
You
that's
tell 'em.
right. Yeah. The publicservice.org. Go to our message boards. Stay off those nasty social media sites. Come to the message board. We're going to build some stuff up here. We're going to have a dialogue. Drop in.
Talk to you soon.
You have been watching a public service show. America is part of a global community. Sandra and I are well aware that the American experience had the hope for freedom. America isn't perfect by any means, and we are currently having our freedoms tested. Here at the Public Service Show, we're going to look at how and why we're at this point in America.